after 6 failed AFC Championship games, he was ready for the big one.
Super Bowl 11. This is Bill King with a welcome. Everything in the United States, everything really in a sports sense in the world, is zeroed in, focused today here in the canyon at Arroyo Seco.
That's right, in the shadow of the San Gabriel Mountains. Second quarter, Raiders leading 3-0. Stabler, Dave Casper, touchdown from the Ghost. It was 10-0 in favor of the silver and black, who had waited so long. 13-1 during the regular season. Barely got by New England in the first round of the playoffs. Almost got knocked out. Survived that and then came through. Pete Banaszak, Crivets, Wisconsin, made it 16-0. Madden told his guys before this, it will be the biggest event ever to happen in your lives if you win. And they did. They put it on the Vikings, as a lot of teams did when it came to the Super Bowl. But there's the famous interception, Fran Tarkenton to Willie Brown. Oh, man, Willie. And that's the famous, there it is, the NFL film shot, Michael.
There it is.
Now you know for sure. Willie Brown takes it in. The players, the fans, Dave Dalby there on the sidelines. Players excited. Gene Upshaw, Art Shell, the snake Kenny Stabler, the crafty left-hander, as the Raiders win the Super Bowl for John Madden, 32-14.
Few people have covered the NFL quite like our next guest, Chris Mortensen, longtime employee here of ESPN, obviously, but you've known John Madden for a long time, Mort. I wondered if you could share your first memories of encountering him and his personality.
Well, actually, I encountered him without speaking to him at his first and only Super Bowl championship at the Rose Bowl, because I was working for a local newspaper back then, and that was in January of 1977. So I actually watched that game and covered it in a part-time or sidebar role for the Daily Breeze. And so I was there when they beat the Minnesota Vikings, the Raiders that is, and his players were lifting him up on their shoulders, which I thought was quite an accomplishment, by the way. So that was my first image of him, certainly. But there are other times where I encountered him, certainly the Madden Cruiser. He made it, he wasn't fond of flying, so he got the Madden Cruiser. I thought that was so cool. He was always comfortable in his own skin, and I think you can imagine what that means. And so I also want to note, Michael, that one of the most memorable times I had listening to him, that was in 2006 when he was inducted. And I will say it's one of the greatest 3 or 4 or 5 speeches ever in the history of the Hall of Fame, and it was so authentic. He was so enthusiastic, and I think everybody should go watch it and listen to it again when he starts talking about he really believes that when the lights go down and the doors were locked, that the bust in the Hall of Fame, they would talk to each other. Newt Rockne and Walter Payton and all those great players would talk to each other. I think he said he actually believed that was true. That was typical of John Madden, I think.
It seems like, Mort, everyone that you've talked to that has spent any time with him whatsoever, either they played with him, they worked on his staff, they worked with him on the broadcast throughout his career or in other endeavors, everybody loved John Madden. What was it about him that made everyone just love being around him?
Well, I think his passion and enthusiasm and knowledge for the game, and he was unabashedly himself. I mean, his style, it was not the style you were accustomed to of listening to in the broadcast booth, but he was that way in real life. And he was a genuine, authentic man, treated you with kindness. But I also know that, he cared about football, even in his latter years, and he made a real contribution to the Madden video game. He didn't just lend his name; he got involved in that, but he also was an advisor to Roger Goodell, especially in his latter years, as they tried to work through the concussion issues in the NFL. And Madden was really, I think, almost like a concierge to Roger Goodell and many others as they worked through all these issues in the NFL. And he really wanted it to be about football. And just from a reporter covering it, and yes, a fan of the game and the sport, the league, you kind of felt like it was in good hands as long as you knew that he had a voice, even if it was behind the scenes, and that the commissioner of the NFL was listening to him. And so to me, we were group messaging among some of us at ESPN and friends of ours, and we're talking about if you're going to have a Mount Rushmore of pro football. We pretty much are sure that John Madden would be on that. You could have a debate about a lot of people. Hey, yes, we'll have Tom Brady and we'll have Jim Brown and probably Vince Lombardi, but I think John Madden would be on that Mount Rushmore.
Mort, I said earlier that he's easily one of the most influential people in the history of American sports, and some of the information you just shared totally backs up that statement. Chris Mortensen here on SportsCenter. Thanks, Mort.